Welcome to the Intechnica Performance Podcast series. This short podcast is part 3 in our topic Performance Analysis Best Practice and looks at Application Performance Management, or APM, when performance testing. So what is APM? Well, APM is Application Performance Management. It typically presents as an agent-based toolset that aims to give you a unified last mile to first mile transactional view of application performance and combine this with the sort of code level analysis that profilers have traditionally provided. A little on the history of APM. APM is often called code profiler on steroids. And that's because it was developed from existing code profiler technology, which of course is familiar to developers like ANTS and JPro. This was combined with a desire to take this deep dive capability, give you this under the hood code level view, and link it to a distributed transactional view of application performance. So in combination, you can then drill down from a detected performance regression right down to often line of code, so this problem can be quickly triaged and resolved. So why is APM important for performance analysis? Well, according to Gartner, it's a very, very powerful solution. That's because it's multi-dimensional. It gives you information about the end user, the runtime application architecture, the business transactions, the deep dive component monitoring that profilers provide, and brings us all together collectively with analytics and reporting. So very, very much a very powerful one-stop single solution for application performance management and monitoring. So what does APM provide, particularly for performance testing? Well, APM can simultaneously support a whole range of different tech stacks. Applications today are typically complex, highly distributed. With APM, you can generally monitor your entire application deployment from a single toolset. Combine this with detailed analysis of the end user, which is very, very important in today's digital world, and also bring in the profiling capability to drill down to get this class, method, line of code view of application behavior when performance regressions or exceptions present during performance testing. So collectively, it greatly enhances the diagnostics available to the performance testing team, which is of course highly desirable. And we can leverage and integrate with existing monitoring and testing solutions to give you the single point of analysis. So we can often hook into the performance testing tool set, any existing monitoring solutions that may be deployed, bring all that information together into a single view. And then we can deploy APM across development, quality assurance and production, and we can leverage the work done during the development and testing of our application to ensure that when it's rolled out, we keep this deep dive, consistent view of performance behavior and performance analysis. Because if you look at a traditional application and infrastructure monitoring approach, it's generally two areas. We have the application, so the business transaction, the functionality, and the web request. And typically that's as low as we go with our performance test tooling in terms of information available to us when we're running a test. And we combine this with information from the infrastructure. So CPU loading, RAM footprint or available memory, and probably database performance as well. But we typically get very little information at the code level, so we can't really see inside our application server, so we don't have much visibility if there is a problem of what components of the application are involved. Now, this is where APM really shines. If we use the same example with APM, where you can see we get information at the business transaction level, the entry point, so the web request and the API calls that might be involved. And also we get the code analysis, so we get the class, method, line of code information, but integrated right from our business transaction point of view. And we also bring in the information from the infrastructure, so resource footprint again, CPU and memory and other metrics, and very importantly database performance. And we bring this all together in one view. So we have this first mile, last mile view of application performance and behavior. Very, very powerful. If we look at how this information is typically presented to us using APM, we typically start at some high-level workflow or business transaction view of application performance. So we look at our end users, third parties, hosting servers, JVMs, different tiers within our application deployment, the web, the application servers, and the database. And we can follow the navigation of our end users through these major components. And from each of these points, we can then drill down to get a deeper, more granular view of what's going on should a performance problem occur. Now, our first point of call might be the web request or entry point. So we can see what functionality is involved, what web page components are actually potentially causing a problem, and from here we can then drill down into the class method line of code, and we can rapidly see the biggest contributors to performance regression, performance exception, or any other problems that might occur. Similarly, we might drill down into our database, so we can see SQL, Verb, and stored procedure performance, and importantly we can also see where the database calls originated from. So how do we get here? So we can see the part of our application involved. And again, we can very quickly see the major contributors to performance regression, exception, or other problems. Finally, there's looking at the hosting servers and the network. APM APM provides a native capability to monitor this information. But we can always integrate with other monitoring solutions and bring that data into our APM solution. So we're typically looking at server CPU, server memory, network utilization, disk performance, and importantly from here we can generally drill back into the application, so we can go back to that deep level class method line of code view to rapidly get to the bottom of any problems that might occur. So just in summary, APM, Application Performance Management. Agent-based tooling, unified last mile, first mile transactional view application behavior and performance, combined with this profiler code level view, so we can drill down into our application and rapidly resolve any problems. So very powerful. Major takeaways, simultaneous support for different technologies, so we can generally monitor our entire application deployment, the detailed analysis of the end user, this profiler drill down code level analysis of performance regression and exception, the under the cover look at our application, collectively greatly enhances the diagnostics available to us when we're performance testing, which is of course very desirable. We can leverage and integrate with existing monitoring and testing solutions to maintain the single point of analysis. So our load testing toolset, other monitoring solutions, we can integrate and bring data into APM. And we can deploy APM across the whole application lifecycle, development, quality assurance, and production. So the work we do in development and testing, we can leverage in production to ensure we maintain a consistent view of application performance. So, I'd like to thank you again for watching this short podcast. As always, please send any questions or comments to the email displayed, and we'll be back again very soon with another podcast in the Performance Podcast series. Thank you very much.